2, 1. We are live. Over to you, Vijay.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Vijay Subramanian. Welcome to day 6 and the webinar 11 of the Changemakers Summer Camp webinar series. In this session, we will learn what it takes to become a change maker. The session will be led jointly by Mr. Kiran Kumar and Mr. Fanindra, along with 3 students, Aditri Bhatnagar, Syed Saida, and Sri Raksha. Mr. Kiran Kumar is a change maker, a strategic advisor, management consultant, and mentor. He advises and consults for IT firms in the area of innovation, product strategy, and product management. It has been his passion to mentor school students, college students, and working professionals over the last 15 years. He is also a mentor of change associated with Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, Government of India, and has been recognized as one of the top performing mentor by Atal Innovation Mission on several occasions. He's driving several initiatives to groom the next generation of change makers among the school children. Mr. Fanindra is an academic coordinator at Nagarjuna Model School, Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh. Creating a change in the educational system is one of his primary goals. He strongly believes young minds can achieve anything with right guidance and support. Mr. Fanindra is an ATL in charge as well as mentor of change associated with Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, Government of India, and has been recognized as an exemplary teacher of change by Atal Innovation Mission. In today's webinar, Mr. Kiran Kumar will talk about the importance of change making and how school students can become young change makers through their actions and initiatives, while Mr. Fanindra will talk about the grooming and budding change makers in his school. Among the 3 students, Aditri Bhatnagar is a class 9 student of Amities International School, Delhi. Syed Saida is a class 10 student of Nagarjuna Model School, Kadapa, and Sri Raksha is a class 12 student in Air Force School, Hebal. These 3 students will briefly talk about the change-making initiatives they have been taking while studying in school. If you have any question during the session, please type them in the YouTube or Zoom chat window. We'll take your questions at the end of the webinar. Before we start the session, I request all the participants to mark their attendance in the Google form, whose link is being shared in the Zoom and YouTube chat window. So the form will be open only during the session, and those who attend the session will receive a participation certificate at the end of the summer camp. So now let me invite Mr. Kiran Kumar to start the webinar.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you very much. Let me get started. I'll share my screen and then we will get started. Okay. Hope all of you are able to see my screen. Vijay, can you give me a confirmation?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. So good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be going live today. I hope you watched my short video that I had posted today morning in both the WhatsApp groups. This session is all about change making and becoming a change maker. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this term called change making or change maker, but we are going to talk about it today. So this webinar is slightly different from some of the other webinars that you have attended in the last few days. Many expert mentors have given you tools and techniques and methods and processes on how to become a tinkerer or an innovator or a problem solver or become an entrepreneur or a storyteller. And you've learned a lot of things. What we are going to do in this webinar is we are going to take all those things that you have learned in the previous sessions and we are going to put it to some good use. That is what becoming a change maker is all about. Okay. And another unique aspect of this webinar is I'm not the only speaker here. So we have 5 different speakers. Okay. Wow. I mean, 5 speakers in 1 hour. Okay. So don't worry. We have, I'll be speaking for the first 25 minutes or so. Then I'll hand over the session to our 3 young change makers. They're all budding change makers. They have taken many initiatives. We have Aditri Bhatnagar from Delhi, Syed Sadia from Andhra Pradesh, and Sri Raksha from Bangalore. So they will be talking about their own change-making initiatives as students. And then we also have Mr. Phanindra, who is a change maker by himself. He's driving a lot of initiatives as a teacher and as a mentor in his own school, which is Nagarjuna. So we have 5 speakers today. So it's a slightly different setup. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. Are you all ready? Give me a thumbs up in the chat window if you are all ready. Okay. I'm getting started. I hope you're enjoying the summer camp so far. And I hope you're learning a lot of things, very interesting things. And I'm sure many of you who participated in the digital skilling workshop in the last 20 days or so have acquired many, many digital skills. And it's very interesting to get creative with those digital skills, right? I'm sure you will agree with me on that. And during these webinars, many of you have been exposed to mega trends, the big trends that are shaping our lives. And you're probably many of you have attended these sessions on tinkering at home, problem solving through using solar technologies, or maybe going to Mars. And you have also learned about the art of innovating and intellectual property rights, and many interesting things that you went through, and then you learned new stuff out there. And yesterday, I think some of you even learned about solo entrepreneurship and the art of storytelling as well. And of course, in the on the day 1, I think on 24th, you also learned about 21st century skills, right? So there are many, many things that you have learned in this summer camp so far. And we still have 2 more webinars to go. One today evening at 6 p.m. and tomorrow again, one more at 4:30 p.m. And then we will have the valedictory function where the top performers will get the prizes. Okay, so more on that later. Now, in this summer camp, how did you benefit or what did you gain? You improved your knowledge, you acquired many skills, you probably even discovered some hidden talents that you probably were not aware of before, right? So some of you probably discovered these new talents, and maybe you even developed some new interests because after you attended some of our webinars, you probably got excited about certain things. Maybe you want to go to Mars, or you want to build a solar technology-based solution to tackle climate change. Or maybe you also probably developed some, you also got some new experiences. This is a very unique summer camp and very unique way of interacting with the fellow participants or WhatsApp groups. You got an opportunity to talk to our expert mentors. So the experiences are new. So you have gained a lot, I hope. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to take all these learnings and then we will see what it takes to bring some positive changes around you. Okay, using the things that you have learned and gained so far. Okay, so if this is what you want to do, you want to utilize all the skills and knowledge that you're acquiring, because all this knowledge and skills, if they're not utilized, it's of no use. Just by learning things, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, if you just learn it and keep it to yourself, once you have acquired something, you also have to give it back to others in different ways. You need to add your own value addition to it, and you need to express yourself creatively and then bring something new into the world. Then our life will be more fulfilled, isn't it? Do you all agree to that? Okay, give a thumbs up if you agree. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions to see how much you are aware of certain things and whether change making is for you. Of course, I'm going to talk about what change making is later, but before that, I'm going to show you some pictures and ask you what you feel about it. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so you need to put your responses in the chat window. You need to type them in the chat window. Okay, so let's look at this first picture here. Poverty, hunger, and malnutrition. Look at these images of these children. They seem to be really poor, right? And they seem to be having limited food, and they're all sharing their food. And there's a lot of poverty in our country still, right? Not everybody is rich. Not everybody can afford things. So what do you feel when you look at, maybe when you come across people who are in poverty or they're struggling to have 3 meals a day? Many of you are privileged. You have 3 meals a day. You live in comfortable homes. You get education and all of these, but not everybody is so privileged. So how do you feel How do you feel about this? Can I have some responses in the chat window? What are your thoughts? Sharing is caring. I see one response. Are there more responses? Yeah, please keep coming, bringing pity. Okay, you feel pity about them. Okay, share whatever you can. Okay, sad, you feel sad. You need food, clothes, and education funds. Okay, you feel guilty also. Yeah, sad. I can see some things. Okay, so there are a lot of these emotions, right? So we need to feel these emotions first before we can do something about it. So, okay, good. Saying give something to help and things like that. Excellent. Okay, now I'll show you one more picture. When you see this garbage littered on the streets, how do you feel about this? How do you feel? I mean, when you go past that road, and do you like that appearance of all this garbage strewn in your neighborhood? Or do you, how does the smell, how does it smell, all that garbage? Does it smell good? Does it smell bad? Does it look neat and nice, or does it look dirty? Okay, somebody's saying dirty, somebody's saying bad. Okay, excellent, fantastic. This is important. I feel shame. Okay, not nice, awful, wonderful. And if you are also going on the road and you see a lot of pollution out there, and those pollution particles get into your face and into your eyes, and you feel itchy, and then you feel a lot of soot has collected on your face, is that a good feeling? So tell me, how do you feel about it? You want it to be clean, and you ask the government to clean them. Okay, excellent. I feel pity on earth. Okay, so is my voice breaking? I mean, are people able to hear me? Somebody is saying your voice is breaking. So Vijay, can you hear me?
It's coming out clear.
It's good.
It's coming out clear.
It's good. Fantastic. Okay, so let me show you one more picture. Discrimination. Have you experienced this yourself anytime? Discrimination can happen in so many ways. It can happen because of some differences between us, whether, I mean, we are fair skin, light skin, dark skin. It could be because we have some mobility issues, or it could be gender issues. It could be race issues, religion issues, so many things. I mean, have any of you faced this? And how do you feel when you face discrimination, or somebody near you is facing discrimination? Okay. So what do you think? What do you think? Should the discriminator be humane, really bad? Okay, right? Exactly. I mean, you feel guilty. Excellent. Okay, so all of these emotions, we need to really understand these emotions before we can do something, right? If you are familiar with climate change, right? I mean, many of you, I don't know whether you have experienced the impact of climate change. Maybe if you're living in coastal areas, or maybe near the rivers, you would have experienced all this flooding of rivers, or maybe sometimes you are hit by a tsunami. It happened way back in, I think, many years ago in India. And then a lot of people were killed. I mean, they were washed into the sea, and a lot of property, livelihood, everything was destroyed. And it's all these natural calamities are happening more and more. And you know why? They're all happening because of human activities, increased human activities. And we are burning a lot of fossil fuels, as you learned in Mr. Srinivas's session on going the solar way, right? And that's why we are going the solar way now. And a lot of forest fires, right? I mean, forests are burning up. I mean, they're just catching fire, or there are droughts in some places, where there is overflooding or excess rainfall in some places, and all these glaciers are melting, right? Are we destroying our earth? Can we do something about it? What do you feel about this, right? We should avoid it. Okay, I should keep my country clean, excellent. So we need to take care of our climate, right? Exactly. So all of these are very important. Now wars, look at all this, some more examples. Wars, human suffering, and the refugee crisis. You must have been familiar with this war that is going on in Ukraine during the last more than a year now. What is the war between who and whom? Between Ukraine and Russia. Right? And it's been waging for more than a year. And you know how many people were killed in this war, how many people are displaced, how many people have become refugees. They have been driven out of their own country because of the war. And they're living in, I mean, they don't have anything. They don't have their homes. They don't have food, shelter, clothing, nothing. I mean, many of them who stayed back in the country are really, I mean, they're just left to die probably, because there is no water, there is no electricity supply. Everything is destroyed in their country. And a few years back, we had another war in Syria, and then a lot of people in that country had to flee the country because of the war. and they got onto some boats and they tried to run away from the country through the sea. And maybe they thought they will reach some European countries through the sea, but many of them actually died in the sea itself because their boats capsized. They were overcrowded. Many people died. And just look at this face of this lady here who is crying. Maybe she lost her near and dear ones, her family members because of the war, or maybe because of this people dying in the sea, right? Or the kid who has probably lost his parents. What do we make of all of these? Human suffering, war, refugee crisis. We are creating more and more problems, isn't it? A lot of problems, but are we able to, are we dealing with it enough, right? So there are a lot of these issues that are happening, okay? And maybe this is something which you probably can relate to more. Maybe some of you have faced this. Maybe you are victims of bullying, either in school or elsewhere. Maybe there was another kid who was a little more grown up and he was like picking fights with you and threatening you and hitting you sometimes, punching you. I don't know, or maybe, or were you the bully sometimes? How do you feel when you are bullied or when you are the victim of bullying? How do you feel about it? What can you do about it? Right? Have you thought these issues, right? It's sad, it's bad, okay? And there's a lot of these things, right? Many of these challenges. And at least I'm sure all of you have the stress of studying for tests and exams, because these tests and exams keep coming all the time, year after year, and tests probably come every month or so. And then you have a lot of stress studying for them and memorizing things that are in their textbooks, and maybe you can't recollect some things, and then you have a hard time, and maybe you get scoldings from your parents or from the teachers for not doing, securing good marks, right? So there are a lot of these challenges. So we have seen many examples like this. So what do we make of all of these? And do we really care about any of these things? That's my question to you. You have seen lots of these examples. Okay, so if you really care, what do you really care about? Which of these things from the example that I showed you, do you really care about? Or are there other things that you really care about? So have you identified what really bothers you or matters to you? Okay, or are you a completely happy child who comes down? Or maybe even if you say you're a happy child, maybe there are certain things that you may not have seen enough or experienced enough. But there are a lot of things happening out there. So first thing is we need to really realize what's happening out there. And do we have that feeling and emotions in us which makes us care for other people? And only if we can do that, then maybe we can take some action. So now I want to ask you one more question. You can type it in the chat window. What do you want to do about the things that you really care? Do you want to sit and do nothing, or do you want to take action? Okay, you can type it in the chat window. Okay, you want to take action. I see some take action. Okay, I see a lot of take action. If there's somebody who says, sit and do nothing, I don't want to do anything, I'm just going to sit and relax and let the life happen to me, let other people worry about these problems, it's not my cup of cake. Okay, if you say that, fine, that is your way of life. Okay, so life happens to you, and then you have to take whatever comes your way, right? That's it. But if you say that, okay, I'm going to take action, I want to do something about it, maybe not world changing, but at least something small that I can start up with, then this webinar is for you. So if you answered yes, then this webinar is for you, and then you can stay back and listen to me more. Okay, so now let's say you have decided that you want to take action. Do you know how to go about it? Do you know what to do and how to go about it? Because many of these problems, the climate change and the pollution and all those things seems to be very big problems. You might say, I'm a school child. I'm still in my middle school or high school. What can I really do about it? I mean, these are all for grown-up people, and even grown-up people find it very difficult to tackle these problems. So you don't expect me to do all of these. But then if you say that, you may be closing the doors, because there may be something you might be able to do even as a school-going kid. Okay, so we are going to find out more. So let's figure out what can you do. First and foremost, you don't have to really worry about all those things. First, you need to identify the area that you really care about. If you have identified the area that you really care about, whether you care for pollution, whether you care for that garbage, or about climate change, or about bullying, or whatever, you pick one area that you are interested in. Maybe where your emotions boil, maybe you feel really bad about it. And then when you really care deeply about something, then you will have passion for it. Then you will have something from within your heart that you want to do something, you want to change something. That is called passion. So you develop passion when you really deeply care about something. And that cause or that problem or the challenge that you are seeing, that will give you a purpose, it will give you meaning, and it will put you on a certain direction. And it will help you move forward somehow or the other. Somehow magically things will happen to you when you when you have passion and when you have purpose. If you just have passion, that's not enough, because it's a lot of raw energy, but you don't know what to do. But the moment you find a real cause that you care about, then you also develop purpose, and then it gives you direction, right? So passion, so what you care about first initially gives you probably develop the passion and purpose, and then passion gives you energy and drive. And then finally, purpose gives you a direction to act. If you don't have a direction, you will still be lost. You may have a lot of energy, I want to do something, but you're still lost. You don't know what to do. So you need to pick one area where you really care about, and then you need to have this passion and purpose. When both of them come together, a lot of things can happen. And then all your knowledge, all your skills, interests, talents, experiences, resources, all of them will fall into place. Somehow you will be able to leverage all the knowledge and skills you have acquired, the experiences, the resources that you have. Somehow all of them will start connecting, the dots will start connecting. And then you will start moving in that direction, because you have a very clear purpose, and your passion will give you that energy and drive to move forward, right? You all agree with me? So if you agree, you can put a thumbs up in the chat window. Okay, so this is where you need to get started. Today, what has happened is we are just studying something, we are just learning something, we are just acquiring some things, but we don't know what we are doing, why we are doing. We don't have a purpose, we don't even have passion. But first thing is that passion and purpose. Without that, nothing ever, great things can never be achieved in this life, isn't it? So that's the first thing. Okay. Now you can make a change when you have these basic things, the passion and purpose. All you have to do is identify a cause. I'm just summarizing it again. You have to identify a cause or a need or a problem that you are really passionate about, you really care about. Then leverage that everything that you have got, your knowledge, skills, talents, experiences, resources, bring them all together and take some action. When you take that action, some things will happen, some things will move. Maybe seeing your motivation, seeing your energy and drive, somebody will come to your help. Maybe your parents will support you, or some relatives will support you, or your school or teachers will support you, or your mentor will provide you guidance. People will come and flock to you when you really have a direction and a focus and you're energetic about it. Until then, nobody really bothers, right? So you need to take that action and demonstrate to the world that you can be counted, you can make a difference. So you have to make an impact. So it's not enough if you just do some tinkering project in your school, your innovation project in your school, showcase it as a demo in some innovation competition and win a prize and then throw it away. That's not enough. Of course, you can still do that, but I'm pushing you to do more. Can you do something more than that? Okay. So can you really take all your innovations, everything? You might have identified a problem even for doing your tinkering or innovation project, but because you'll probably lack that passion, purpose, you're not taking it forward. You're typing stage, or you're just happy with the competition. But when you're really, really driven by that cause, then you really take action in the real world and you make things happen. You make an impact, and that is where change making is all comes. And you should not think too much. So my suggestion is, don't think too much. Just do it. Just do it. If you just do it, somehow or the other things will happen, some things will move. You all agree with this? Let's give me a thumbs up. Okay. Now let's look at a few examples of change makers. Can you identify these 3 change makers in the picture? Who is this girl on the left side? Can you identify? Anybody knows who is this lady or who is this girl on the left side? Anybody knows? Nobody knows her. Okay. Yes. Fantastic. I see correct answers. Malala Yousafzai. She is the youngest Nobel Prize winner in the world, and she is a change maker. She has been driving and she's championing the cause of education for children. And of course, she has moved out of school now, but she still champions, and she won the Nobel Prize at the age of 17 years. She's the youngest Nobel Prize recipient, and she's one of the youngest change makers. Of course, there are even younger change makers, but she's the first one to get a Nobel Prize. And who is this girl on the right side? Anybody knows her name? Oh, fantastic. I already see answers. Greta Thunberg. No, of course, she's not Russian, but she is Swedish. She is again a schoolgirl who is from Sweden. Greta Thunberg is the correct answer. And you know what is she interested in? She is an environmental activist. She focuses on all this environmental issues, and she is very strong. And she chases some big companies and tells them point blank how they're destroying the earth. She is a very gutsy person. And do you know who is the person in the center? He looks like Indian. Who is this person in the center? Any guesses? His name is what? Nobody knows? Yes, Kailash. What's his full name? Kailash. His name is Kailash. His name is Kailash Satyarthi. Okay, he is also a social reformer, and he is also working for the cause of children, and he's against suppression of children through various means, and he is also working for the rights of children. And in fact, together, Mr. Kailash Satyarthi and Yousafzai got their Nobel Prize, a joint Nobel Prize in 2014. I don't know if any of you remember, both of them were the Nobel Prize recipients in 2014. So these are all change makers. So change maker is someone who leverages everything at their disposal and makes a positive change happen in their own world. But when they started off, they were starting with something small. There are 1 or 2 more examples. There are these school-going kids here. You can see these 4 school-going kids. Dvisho Joy. I don't know how to pronounce her name. She, in fact, you know what she's doing? She's a school kid, and she is helping street vendors move from plastic bags to paper bags. And she engages 5,000 school children to produce these paper bags from newspapers. And look at the case of Shloka, another school kid from Bangalore, Karnataka. And she is creating internship opportunities for high school students so that they can go and work with NGOs or startups and gain some experiences, good experiences, acquire some new skills. Or look at Dhruv, who is from Chennai. He conducts classes on financial literacy for people in underprivileged areas, especially children in underprivileged communities and low-income backgrounds. So he's championing that cause. With whatever little knowledge that he has acquired about finance, he's teaching them to kids. And look at Krishna. He started his own initiative to raise awareness about mental health issues, gender equality, and climate change. And he has been doing it in more than 400 schools and 20 cities across India. So can you imagine the kind of changes that these youngsters, these young teenagers are trying to bring? If they can do it, I'm sure you can also do it, right? So finally, let's come to the change maker mindset. Change makers mindset. What do they do and what do they not do? Let's understand both of them. Okay. So I think I'm running out of time. I'm going to wrap up very quickly so that I can hand over the session to our students. Okay. So they have a vision. They can think broader than other people. While other people are caught up in small things, they have a bigger vision for a change, a positive change. And they take charge of things. They take initiative and they set a goal, a very clear goal, and they chase them and they collaborate with other people and they take action and they make things happen and they demonstrate results. They really make an impact that really counts, and they inspire people, and they do a lot of these kind of things. But what do they not do? I mean, they don't create problems on their own, or they create obstacles for other people. They don't whine and cry about problems. When they're faced with problems, they don't whine and cry. Rather, they take charge Right? They don't blame others for the problems. They don't sit and wait for somebody else to solve the problem. Right? So do you want to be in which category? First category or the second category? You can put it in the 1 or 2 in the chat window. First, okay, excellent, wonderful. So let's move on. So change maker, I'm summarizing everything right now. Change making involves many things. Of course, it involves tinkering, it involves problem solving, it involves innovating, it involves entrepreneurship. All of these have to come. Ultimately, you have to do all of these to bring some change in the society or in your community, or in your neighborhood, whatever. And it requires self-drive and motivation, ownership. It requires you to influence and inspire and provide leadership. So if you can develop all these skills if you just take up and drive it. And as I said earlier, you need to have goals, you need to have a vision, and you need to work in a mission mode with a purpose, and you need to create meaning for yourself as well as for others. And you should be ready to do whatever it takes to do. And you had to make things better and maximize the impact as many people as possible with your initiative. And ultimately, your aim should be to create a better world, right? So that should be the goal. And finally, I would say it's always that small group of people, thoughtful and committed people who can bring changes in the world. You don't have to wait for everybody in this world to change before you can change. So if you are really motivated to take action, you should start doing it now and things will change. When you start changing and when you start taking action, others will follow you and they will come and support you, and together you can bring a bigger change. That is how things happen. So never wait for things. But you had, before you can go far, you need to start near, right? You cannot go and say, okay, I'm going to come up with some grand world-changing initiative, I'm going to change it. And then sooner or later, you might discover that, oh, the world is not changing. So, but we need to start with something that in which we can do something small as individuals, right? With our limited knowledge or skills or experience or talents or whatever resources we have. So what can we do about it? So I'll talk about one initiative that we have started in a few schools, especially ATL schools. We call it as the Tinkerchamp Club. This can be implemented in any school, okay? And this Tinkerchamp Club, we get students to sign up and join this club, and they start taking their own initiatives as part of the club activities. That means we don't tell them what initiatives they should take, but they identify their own cause, they start taking initiatives on their own, and they drive action, and they demonstrate results, and they themselves become change makers. So this is what we are trying to do. And we have a few students now, Aditri Bhatnagar, Syed Sadia, and Sri Raksha, who have their own Tinkerchamp clubs in their own schools, and they have been driving their own initiatives to bring about some positive changes using all the skills, knowledge, talent, experience, resources they have at their disposal. So let's hear directly from them to see what their experiences are, okay? So hope you're ready for that. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, so let's start with Aditri first. I'll hand over the session to Aditri. Aditri, if you can introduce yourself and start off.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Greetings to one and all present here. I am Aditri Bhatnagar, studying in class 9 from Amity International School, Saket, New Delhi. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this evening. I am here today to share my journey as a young change maker. I started off in class 6 by joining the first ever Tinkerpreneur Bootcamp conducted by Atal Innovation Mission way back in 2021. In the bootcamp, I learned several digital skills as well as business skills under the mentorship of Mr. Kiran Kumar, who has been my mentor throughout this journey. Subsequently, some of us Tinkerpreneurs participated in the ATL Workshop Challenge and ATL Product Challenge offered by our mentor Kiran sir. After a grueling 3 months of intense learning and conducting workshops for our fellow students, we were tasked by our mentor to take our learnings forward and create a much bigger impact on the larger student community. Our goal was to spread a culture of creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship far and wide among our peers across the country. To do this, we students organized ourselves into teams and planned and conducted a 3-day national level online maker fair in November 2021. In the run up to the Maker Faire, we ran an intense marketing campaign with a lot of posters, flyers, and videos to get as many students from across the country to register as possible. We got more than 2,000 registrations in 1 week. During the Maker Faire event, we conducted several webinars, panel discussions, product, and technology demos to thousands of students across this country who joined our live sessions via Zoom and YouTube. We even had our own Maker Faire website in which we created and published ebooks, podcasts, and e-learning tutorials related to creativity, 21st century skills, and entrepreneurship for the registered participants to learn from. Though we went through many challenges in running this Maker Faire, we succeeded in making a big impact on 6,000 plus students from all over India. After the successful completion of the Maker Faire, we finally graduated as Tinker Champs in the presence of many dignitaries, including Ms. Dipali Upadhyay, Program Director of Atal Innovation Mission. I finally gained the honor of being called a Tinker Champ. It was indeed a proud moment for me. A year later, in November 2022, we conducted the second edition of the Maker Faire as well, this time with new learnings, new resources, but with the same enthusiasm. I took the ownership of the program and became the program director. We made it even better than earlier and spread a culture of creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship among the 8,000 plus students across the country. In this journey, I learned a lot of 21st century skills like teamwork, communication, and leadership qualities. We also learned that perseverance and hard work always pays off. If we have a vision and we keep our eyes on it, we can achieve anything we want in life and also make a positive difference in the lives of other people around us. Right now, the Tinker Champs are working on developing an entrepreneurship kit with the intention of spreading knowledge and skills among rural children across India. Our goal is to make an impact on 1 million rural children in the next 5 years. In a few months from now on, some of us want to go live on the TED platform and speak about the initiative we have taken and the impact we have made as a young change maker. In conclusion, I'd say that this has been a great journey for me and I wish to continue with it. It wouldn't have been possible with the help of our mentors, Kiran sir and Fanindra sir, all the Tinker Champs and the audience that is patiently waiting for more programs like this. A very big thank you to all of you for listening to my journey throughout. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditri. That was awesome to hear your initiatives as a change maker. That's wonderful. So let's move on to Syed Sadia. She's another Tinker Champ and budding change maker from Nagarjuna Model School in Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh. Over to you, Sadia.
Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. This is Syed Sadia from class 10 of Nagarjuna Model School, Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh. My teammate name is Sheikh Shima Farheen. Shima and I together learned many digital skills and entrepreneurial skills during the ATL Thinkerpreneur Bootcamp 2021 and 2022 conducted by Atal Innovation Mission. Subsequently, under the guidance of our mentors, Fanindra sir and Kiran sir, we started our journey as young change makers and we have mentored the students in our own school. Then, Kiran sir have been inviting us to assist the students whenever he conduct any digital skilling bootcamp. We were assisting the students, supporting them, and were guiding them in the same way. Later, we decided to conduct a digital skilling bootcamp in our own school. We had more than 700 students and teachers who had registered for this bootcamp. We guided, supported, and mentored these participants during the 16 days of the bootcamp in acquiring various digital skills. It feels very good when we are sharing our knowledge with others. Last year, we visited a community school in our area and exposed about 100 students to design thinking, the method of problem solving, and innovation. We also inspired them by showcasing our products. With our guidance, now the community school students are coming up and also working on some of the projects which are very innovative and very creative as well, which are addressing the problems they are experiencing in their environment. To make the Children Day very special for the students, we, the Tinker Champs of Nagarjuna Model School, have organized a small workshop in our school last year about basic electronics, and also simple circuits. The workshop participants truly enjoyed tinkering with simple circuits and learned many new things. It was a good feeling for us too, as our skills were helping many other students to learn new things. Soon, Atal Innovation Mission got to know about our initiative. They immediately gave us a golden opportunity to create e-learning content and resources for the ATL Thinkapreneur Bootcamp 2022 participants. In addition, they have also given opportunity to conduct online tinkering sessions for thousands of participants of the bootcamp. Along with our mentor, Kiran Sir, myself and Shima conducted 3 mentoring sessions for thousands of participants all across the country. Since August 2021, we have participated in many such mentoring engagements and had impacted more than 10,000 students locally as well as nationally. It is a proud achievement for us. Then last year, we started our own little business venture and launched our first product named NMS Explorer. NMS Explorer is an online web portal which facilitates easy access to various e-learning content for the ATL students where they can tinker and also innovate. Seeing what we have accomplished, our school management officially launched the ATL website as the ATL website of our own school. That was a great achievement for us again. And through NMS Explorer, now we are able to make an impact on hundreds of students in our own ATL. The NMS Explorer innovation got selected in top 350 during the last year ATL marathon. Subsequently, it got in top 10 in the student innovation program conducted by Dell Technologies. We plan to take our change-making journey forward by building an entrepreneurship kit for rural children. We are currently working on this product. Do you want to be a change maker like us? Then I suggest you don't do big things. Start with small idea, which solves a tiny problem in your own house and your school. Your small step means a lot in the beginning. Once you start taking actions, you can identify bigger social causes to tackle in your own community and find the best solution to address it. So, thank you for the opportunity and all the very best for our budding change makers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadia. That was wonderful. So I would ask the audience to tell us in the chat window what they feel about, what they think about the initiatives that Aditri and Sadia have taken in their own school. And if you have any questions for them, you can type those questions in the chat window as well, and we will take it up later. And now I invite the next speaker, Sri Raksha. She's again a Tinker champ and a budding change maker, and she's from Air Force School, Hebbal in Bangalore. Sri Raksha, over to you. Sri Raksha, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? Okay, I think Fanindra sir, you need to unmute her. Yes, I think you're unmuted now. Can you speak?
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So starting by quoting Edward Everett Hale, I'm only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but can do something. Good evening, everyone present here. I am Sri Raksha Prabhakaran, studying in Air Force School, Hebbal, Bangalore. I'm a part of the co-committee member of the Tinker Champ Club in our school. I'm honored to be here and share with you all my journey of being part of this change-making community. I take this opportunity to share the initiatives taken by us to bring a change and to focus on bringing digital literacy in our school. Firstly, I would like to break a myth about innovation and technology. It is often stated that tinkering is closed only for students from science background. But being from a commerce stream, I assure you that any student from any background can get into tinkering if they wish to. Now, moving on to the initiatives taken by me and my team, we conducted a 15-day digital skilling bootcamp for our school students from 15th October 2022 to 30th October 2022. The students were given time to acquire 40 plus digital skills from the portal and build a digital prototype using those skills. We received around 108 registrations and 25 prototypes, out of which we selected 8 students who acquired maximum number of skills and top 3 best prototypes. We had to make a rubrics for awarding them marks to select the best prototype, but suddenly the categories felt insufficient. So we went on to make another rubrics to rank them marks. It was a great experience being on the other side and organizing an online bootcamp for students. To keep them entertained, we also gave them many challenges and activities like PT Rush, where the class with most number of skills got a free PT period every day. Planning and scheduling activities for the participants were personally my favorite part. Another major activity organized by us was an entrepreneurship challenge as a part of the ATL Community Day 2023. We invited about 30 students from Air Force School Jalharli along with our school students. In total, 50 students were divided into teams of 3, where each team had to build a product, market them, and finally sell them to us, acting like customers. The teams further divided themselves into product, marketing, sales, and finance team. It was an activity to mimic the real world where we even set up stalls for them for purchasing raw materials and a bank from where they could withdraw the capital required. All the teams were given equal budget to purchase the raw materials and build the product. We also made a price list of raw materials, and the teams had to stick to the budget. Also, being a commerce student, I was more than happy to give them a task to make an income statement where they had to show their expenses, sales, and how much profit they earned. Being able to organize such activities was a privilege to me. My eyes shone at the end of the day looking at the photos of how we conducted those activities. In fact, that was when I found out what I'm really interested in, being a change maker. Looking at the prototypes and projects the participants made gave me immense happiness. Students who were never interested into tinkering before are now part of some major ATL activities in our school like ATL Marathon and G20 activities. All our teachers are now digitally equipped and can conduct any quizzes or assignments virtually. I can proudly say that this was a small impact me and my team created. On the personal front, I can see myself growing and my thoughts changing into positive ones. Thank, Thanks to Kiran sir and our teacher in charge, Ms. Leelamika ma'am, that we are grooming ourselves to be change makers. And I'm thrilled to unfold what this journey holds. And all the best to the others who are starting this journey today. Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome, Sri Raksha, really inspiring. This was a bit of, we wanted to show you what some of our students are doing and how they have taken those small steps to become change makers with their own initiatives. Moving on, we have a teacher and a mentor. His name is Mr. Phanindra, and he is here with us. And he's going to talk about his change-making initiatives as a teacher and a mentor in his school, which is again Nagarjuna Model School, Kadapa. So I now request Phanindra sir to take over and share his experiences of change-making.
Yes. Thank you, Kiran sir. Sir, is my voice audible?
Yes, very much.
Yes, sir. Hi, budding change makers. How are you all? Hope the Tinker Champs and the change makers of the 3 Tinker Champs might have inspired you. How many of you got inspired? Amazing, amazing, amazing. So let me start off again. Myself, Phanindra Zay, I am here to say you all how I created an environment for students to become change makers. Let me start with my mission, vision, and problem that I identified in schools. So my vision is to see myself as a educational reformer, and the problem I identified in my school when I am a student is I never applied my brain while learning, and I only know what is the loss I had when I think of it now. And I see same with most of the students even now. Yes, you are right. Because of rote learning, the creativity is going to be killed. So I decided to bring the change I desired, and I started to work on practical orientation to schooling system where students take greater ownership for their own education. So I tried many approaches, but the best approach I identified is to make students to take ownership of the problem they identified. To lead and tackle the challenges, I have set up student-driven special interest groups such as math zone, dance zone, art and craft zone, writers zone, readers zone, reporters zone, tech zone. So whomever are interested on whichever area, we name it as a zone, and we started to work on the grounds. So in my journey, I also started grooming student mentors to take up the peer mentoring activities, started to set up the internship program to drive greater participation in ATL activities. I also set up Tinkerchamp Club to groom budding tinkerers and change makers. So I mentor student champions who drive their individual initiatives and can tackle the challenges that they see in their school and also in their community. Let us discuss few such initiatives right now. Kiran sir, can we go to next slide?
Yes, sir.
So if you can see here, two of the Tinkerchamps identified that students need to learn new age digital skills to express creatively. So they planned, organized and conducted 16-day boot camp, motivated and made students and teachers to learn more than 25 plus digital skills. And believe me, students, they have created a huge impact in our school. They also invited the budding the Tinkerchamps of other schools also as a speakers for our students. Yes. So moving to the next next slide, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. So here the 7 Tech Zone students identified students have tinkering skills, but they don't have practical exposure on how to build products. So they came up with electric fan making activity using simple circuit and motors, which impacted more than 200 students. So when we go to the next problem that the students have identified, Kiran sir, can we go to the next one?
Yeah.
So here the students, they themselves identified that most of their friends don't have knowledge about the glass painting. So 6 art and craft zone students have taken it as an opportunity to create awareness about glass painting, and they have created an impact of 3,000 plus students. 3,000 plus students, and you can see students smiling faces happily drew the painting, and they have exhibited. And with this activity, the fear in the students was taken away, and the students have taken more initiatives to decorate their board with their notice boards in a very creative way. So this is a huge thing that even I wondered about my students. And one more activity driven by the students, that is readers zone, like excuse me. Yes. So through the reading here, the students identified that through reading many things can be learned. And so here they have taken up leadership skills as a reading activity, and students of readers zone have made 150 students to explore the leader within them by making them to read a book titled Find the Leader Within. And so here you can see they have taken a hybrid model workshop where in the school and after the school, they can communicate to each other, and they can bring out the best out of them. So what next? How many of you also want to become the budding change makers? And so how many of you want to become the Tinker Champs and the student mentor of your own school? Please raise your hands. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Almost many of them. Super. Then as I said earlier, you being the student should take the greater ownership of your own education. Yes. So students, then why to wait? Let us ask Kiran sir to say us all the challenge for you. Kiran sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, Phanindra, sir, for an awesome showcase of the kind of change-making initiatives that you have been taking in your school. It's really impressive, and I hope it's equally impressive from the perspective of all the audience, the teachers and the students who are attending today's session. And so that's pretty much what we have covered. So what we suggest is students start taking some small initiatives that can make an impact within their own community, within the students' community itself. Maybe you can do some of the things that our Sri Raksha, Sadia, Aditri have done. They have been trying to bring some change within their own schools, among their own friends and classmates. So you could start something small with that. And if you keep doing it, and over a period of time, your change-making initiatives can grow in size, and they can become bigger and bigger. And one day you may be able to make a much bigger impact in your community or the country or across the entire world, like some of the examples we saw earlier, like Mr. Kailash Satyarthi or Malala Yousafzai or Greta Thunberg. They're known across the world today as change makers. And some of them have even won the Nobel Prize, right? So the sky is the limit for you. You can do many, many things. So finally, to conclude our session, I would like to give you a challenge. Are you all ready for it? Do you want to take up a small challenge to try? It's a take-home activity, take-home challenge. How many of you are ready for it? Give a thumbs up. Okay, excellent. So here's the challenge. Okay, it's a small challenge that you can do in the next 10 days. So you need to observe and identify one tiny problem or need that people around you are facing in your home or in your school. Okay, you need to come up with an idea to solve the problem. It doesn't have to be fancy, technology-based or anything. It can be a very simple solution. Okay, if you want to use technology, I'll leave it to you, but don't try to make the solution very complex, but come up with a simple idea to address the problem. But most importantly, you need to take that initiative and act on the problem, and you need to solve the problem, and you have to demonstrate how it is solved. And the solution should be such that it's not like a prototype that you show in your ATL lab or in your science project. It should be possible to put it to practical use in your own home or in your school. Can you do that? Can you really do that? Yes or no? Something small, anything that you like, anything that you are interested in. I won't say you have to only take up this or that. It's up to you. So the key challenge for you is to make a real impact on the lives of people around you. It could be your parents, grandparents, your siblings, brothers, sisters, or your teachers, or your school management, or even the security guard in your school, whatever. If you can make their lives slightly better, fantastic, right? You have started your change-making journey. And finally, you need to create a website, because many of you have acquired these digital skills. I want to create a website, document what you have done and the kind of initiative that you have taken. Put some photos. If you have some photos of people using your solution, or whatever, it may be a simple thing, very simple thing, no technology, nothing required, very simple solution. You need to take some pictures and videos, put it on your website, publish it, and share it in our WhatsApp groups. We will keep our WhatsApp groups active. In the next 10 days, you need to post your initiative. That's the first step for your change making. And if you complete this challenge, we would definitely love to have you as part of our national level Tinker Champ Club. Apart from the school level club, we also have a national level Tinker Champ Club. We have about 20 students there who are collaborating across countries and across cities and across states. For example, if you see Aditri is in Delhi, she's been collaborating with Sadia in Andhra Pradesh. And similarly, Sri Raksha has been collaborating with another student, Jaya Malhotra, in another school in Bangalore. So they're all collaborating with each other. And together, when we come together and do things, we can really do bigger things. So that's the opportunity for you if you can take up the small challenge and take that first step to become change makers. So that's pretty much what we had. And so I would conclude by saying that every one of us can be change makers, provided we take some initiative and we act on things that really matter to us. If we don't take action, if we sit on it, we cannot be change makers. So the only way forward is to take some action. The moment you see a problem, you need to tackle it, you need to find a solution, you need to put it to practical use, not just some dummy prototypes anymore. Okay, so that's the challenge. So with that, I will come to the Q&A. If there are one or two questions we could take and we could wrap up. I know we have just utilized all our time. So I'll hand over the session back to Mr. Vijay, who is our anchor for the day.
Yes, sir. So it was a great session for me also, like, and for the audience also. So I found one of the questions there, like, if it was by someone, if I find rural school students are really creative, but they face the language, like language problem while communicating as a barrier. So any tips to like what would be done to solve this, to overcome the communication barrier? So it was asked by someone in the chat.
Okay, I didn't get the question very clearly. What exactly is the language barrier you're talking
so
about?
Like while it says students in the rural areas are creative, but sometimes like there would be an initiative which would help them to showcase their creativity or things like that. So at that time there is a language barrier. Like if we are starting some initiative for the rural students for them to participate in our initiative, maybe a boot camp or sessions like that. So we face language barrier because it might be like they speak their local language, that area, and we are not able to communicate with them. So it creates a language barrier. So how can we overcome that?
Sure. If you're talking about the summer camp being all in English, then yes, we have just made a beginning to do the summer camp. All the sessions were in English, but all of our sessions are live streamed on YouTube, and YouTube provides you the capability to change the language in which you can get actually translation in other languages. That's one option to do. So that's a simple trick that you can use to understand the entire webinar in your local language. But I would also like to address this from a different perspective. Let's say you are a rural kid and you have language barrier to talk to somebody. I would say don't make language into a barrier. Whatever your language is, start communicating in that. If you want to take some initiative, take that initiative in your own language. Your mother tongue is the best language. So let's not create barriers and obstacles to ourselves by saying language is a barrier or this is. So we should not give excuses to anything. Change makers don't give excuses. They always find some solution to every problem, every obstacle. They will somehow circumvent it, or they will find a solution for it. So my suggestion is find your own way. Take greater ownership for your life, whether it is for your education, whether it is for your life. You need to start taking initiative, action, and ownership. Only then together as collectively as a country, we can improve, right? So that's my 2 cents.
Yes, sir. So that was a great answer. So I don't see any more questions. I think we could end the session now. Yeah.
Sure.
So thank you, Mr. Kiran sir and Phanindra sir, and the 3 budding change makers, Aditri, Sadia, and Sri Raksha for an inspiring session on becoming a change maker. Even when I was seeing the experience shared by all the 3 budding students, I also was feeling motivated and thought I could achieve many more things. So it was really inspiring, and I'm sure the participants are also energized and inspired to bring together their varied talents, knowledge, and skills to make a positive impact around them and become a young change makers in the process. Because as a young nation, we need more change makers to solve problems. We have numerous problems in our country, so we require more change makers to solve these problems. Yes. So once again, I thank Mr. Kiran Kumar Phanindra, Mr. Phanindra, for taking time out of their busy schedule to conduct the webinar today. And I also thank the audience for attending the webinar on becoming a change maker. Our next webinar would be at 6 p.m. today, which is on winning formula for great speech and presentation. So it is about communication skills, how we can effectively communicate with others, which is the need of the hour and even in the future. So good communication.
Before we conclude, if you can share the link to the quiz as well.
Okay, yeah. Yes. So before, okay, so we have a quiz link, which we would be sharing in the Zoom on YouTube chat window. So all of you can attempt those quiz. I think it's being shared in the Zoom and YouTube chat window. And yeah, it has been shared. Okay. So yeah, so the next webinar would be at 6 p.m. today, which is on winning formula for great speech and presentation. So it's on communication skill, which is required for everyone, like from budding thinkers, innovators, entrepreneurs, change makers, and even students. It is required everywhere, because we have to communicate to take whatever initiative we want. We have to communicate. So you can find the link, joining link for the YouTube and Zoom session from the Changemaker Summer Camp webinar series, and join us again at 6 p.m. today. So bye for now. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Vijay. Bye. See you. With this, I am ending